Hey everybody, Michael again. Thanks for checking me out on the Archangel 15. Today's video is Ghilslaine Maxwell, The Dark Madam. This is a continuation of various other works that I've done on human sex trafficking, sexual abuse, and various other illegal activity, especially as it correlates to the political sphere. I'm very happy that Mrs. Maxwell was finally arrested and in custody. The FBI took her in last week, and I think next week she is supposed to appear before a judge. I hope this is the first step in finding out the truth and letting justice prevail. I keep finding out more and more just dark and dirty stuff about her, and it really perturbs me, and almost to the point of making me want to throw up. I'm somewhat disturbed as to how much this is not being covered in the media. Some channels more than other. I mean, it's kind of a dead horse, I guess, now with everything going on with the COVID and the protests. But there's other aspects of this that I believe were not adequately covered. You can investigate for yourself if you like what I'm saying here, particularly about Mr. Epstein's New Mexico ranch he had. I talked in the last presentation I did on human cloning. This is kind of a corollary to that. But Epstein had a ranch where he had like a whole bunch of people, breadwinner sperm stored cryogenically, eggs stored cryogenically. He believed that he was going to improve the race somehow through his genetic activities and I guess eugenics programs with him and his elitist friends. It's really interesting. Also, another connection with Epstein that you may find a value to this is Phil Listerman. If you search Epstein Phil Listerman, this Listerman is like a scumbag, and he trolls Ukrainian talent beauty shows and basically goes all around Europe, Ukraine, and Russia, and finds these candidates for his millionaire clients. He said at any one time he claims he has hundreds of thousands, thousands and thousands of these girls on his database, his website, whatever, but he only has 5 that are billionaire worthy. So that just tells you the level of this guy's on. I believe that the whole cloning thing basically took off after the Monica Lewinsky scandal. And after that happened, they started to realize that they can't have loose lips constantly. They can't have every single senator and politician being involved in a sexual scandal. So I think this is a way that the Army, Navy, Air Force, CIA kind of used to mitigate it. Plus, they're just given the nature of their deviant activity. I believe that potentially Mr. Epstein, Miss Maxwell, and various others, the Clintons, the royal family, the Trumps, and many of his country club cohorts are basically involved with these cloning programs, possibly with the military as well. What they do is like I said, they have certain bloodlines that they keep in their little circles for their underground bunkers or whatever, like the AB negative or whatever, people who have had many near-death experiences. I guess they figure if there were to ever be a nuclear holocaust, or some type of a world-ending scenario, that they would stand the best chance with these people, even though they stole half the genetics to begin with. I do believe in karma, and someday the United States military will get what they deserve for what they've done all around the world, and it's pretty undebatable at this point. Interesting thing as well, the flight log for Mr. Epstein's plane, the day after he died, or a couple of days after he died, shows that he went to Antarctica, or it went to Antarctica. I don't know if this has something to do with the Doomsday. I think it's a Svalbard or something it's called, the place where they store all the seeds and the Gateses are into. Maybe he took some cryogenic eggs and sperm there, or some little girls, who knows. It's kind of interesting, the whole story behind his Lolita Express plane. There's numerous stories of people that, the first off the flight log shows the Clintons and very other prominent people. So, you have to think of this thing. We have a picture of Clinton and Epstein together. We have flight logs with Clinton on his plane. Last election, would we really have even stood it? Would it matter of who we voted for? Is this thing that deep to where they want somebody that's like a pedophile or involved in sexual misconduct connected to this? So Ghilslaine Maxwell was a socialite from the UK. Her father owned the UK Daily Mirror, which is like a tabloid, a gossip sheet full of basically fodder for the masses. I don't know, maybe there's some value in it. By no means is she an idiot. She has various other side pet projects, and you can just tell she's a pretty poignant woman. I mean, when you hear her talk, she's not not an idiot by any means. She had some type of ocean conservation group that is supposedly tied to the social networking, and was actually supposedly even a helicopter pilot and has piloted a submarine. Kind of interesting side note there. When I see her as a heartless bitch. I see, when I hear the stories, it makes me want to, like I said, it makes me sick to my stomach. I hear that she was actually even involved with some of this, and what's really bothering is how eerily similar many of these stories are. I mean, almost every single one, whether it was in New York City, whether it was in Florida, the islands, or whatever, they're all like exactly the same. This woman, Ghilslaine Maxwell, recruited these girls, took them into his personal house. He abused them, some cases raped them, sometimes there was other people involved, under the guise of giving him a massage. And then he gives him like a couple $100, like $200-300, which I find really interesting. Like, it must have been a psychological thing. I mean, somebody of his stature having millions and millions, hundreds of millions of dollars, probably $1 billion, maybe hidden offshore somewhere, who knows how much he really had. But, what would it have been to give him $5,000 or $3,000 or a couple thousand? But he knew that if he gave him too much, then it would have caused problems. So it was like it was a psychological thing. And how brazen is it to take him right to his New York City house? And in some cases, these girls were like threatened. Miss Maxwell said, you'll be followed, or somebody's gonna kill you when you're running, or something like that. And again, she was laid this all out for Mr. Epstein, and it was a dark and dirty thing. There's obviously a lot of others involved. I mean, we have the picture with Trump. One can only speculate how many of his friends probably partook in these gatherings with these these island getaways with the girls and everything else. And I really hope that before Miss Maxwell takes the stand, that something weighs on her heart, and she is able to basically give justice to these victims, the many that there are. And I wonder, is this not connected to some other type of stuff? Like, from my psychic intuition and investigation, I believe that there's some like girls in Florida, like missing persons cases, maybe prostitutes that were related, like basically probably like were at Trump's country club, or closely connected to Trump and his friends, and they're probably out in the Atlantic Ocean somewhere now, these girls. There's probably a lot of other people that they attempted to silence, and I really wonder if Mrs. Maxwell was not conditioned. I mean, think about it. There was a lot of time, big gaps of time, between when Epstein supposedly killed himself, which, I'm not going to get into that, but I think probably he's on an island in Tahiti somewhere or something, when you have that kind of money. But, between when he died and now, and recently when she was arrested by the FBI, somebody could have paid her off, somebody could have threatened her, somebody could have conditioned her. There's innumerable things that really could have happened. And I can tell you that there are a few good people in our Department of Justice or our FBI. Unfortunately, a lot of the high-ranking people have been bribed or are directly involved in this human cloning that I'm talking about. Let's hope and pray that justice will be served and truth will prevail. It needs to surface, no matter how ugly it is. Thank you for your time and support of my channel. Take care.